Simon & Schuster Audio presents The Deathless One, Book 1 of the Gravesinger series, by Emma Hamm, read by Kelsey Navarro Foster. For all the women who descended from witches who were burned, they weren't witches, they were women. And that rage is something none of us have forgotten. 1. The gods died on a spring morning. All of them. All at once. Everyone could feel it, from the priestesses in the north to the witches in the south. Those who worshipped the maiden cried out in anguish. The meager few who still worshipped the god-king fell to their knees in horror. Her Majesty Jessamine Harmsworth blew out a long breath of frustration, taking the pencil from between her lips that she'd chewed into a ragged end. I know all this. I know when the gods died, but what I don't know is how the witches caused the plague. Her eyes ran over the book the vendor had slipped her in secret, his beady eyes looking left and right like he was committing a capital crime. In a way, he was. Books on black magic were forbidden throughout the kingdom. He didn't have to worry about her telling anyone, though. A princess wasn't supposed to have a black magic book at all. Really? Did he think this would be helpful? She cast a doleful look at the taxidermied skeleton of a cat on her shelf. Blank, soulless eyes stared back at her. Well, you're not going to reply. Poring over the words again, she searched for the origin of the sickness that continued to spread throughout her kingdom. The witches had long been rumored to have cast the spell. Jessamine had a hard time believing anyone would punish her kingdom like that after the gods died, so she searched for answers. What god had given them such power? Did witches still have any power after using all of it to create the plague? She had so many questions about the most powerful creatures that had ever existed in her kingdom. Perhaps she shouldn't believe there was hope for their goodness, but no one had ever proven that the witches had done anything. Even so, all the blame was cast upon their shoulders, and as such, no one had asked the witches to help solve the problem. Not that there were many of them left. Her great-great-grandfather had destroyed nearly all of them in the days after the gods had died. Unfortunately, no one else had provided a cure for the plague. Their scholars and healers had slowed the plague's spread, but they were no closer to curing it. She had just kicked her feet up on her desk to read more when she was interrupted by the awful sound of bones crunching and a wet slosh that could mean only one thing. She winced as the head of her royal guard wiped the gore off the bottom of his boot, scraping the worn leather against her door. The gold buttons of his dark navy uniform gleamed in the light and clinked against the sword strapped to his hip. He'd stomped the poor thing out of existence. But at least it hadn't suffered. Never mind that it ruined the otherwise peaceful solace she'd found in her laboratory. It was only here, among the quiet bubble and hiss of burner flames, that she felt like herself. All manner of strange findings covered her walls, mostly bugs and beetles in jars, but a few lovelier specimens as well, like a man's right toe she kept over her workstation. But today couldn't be saved even by a jaunt through the book of black magic currently resting on her lap, a purchase she'd have hidden from anyone other than the man standing in her doorway. After all, a bride-to-be in a wedding dress shouldn't be researching witchcraft. "Is it dead?" she asked. "What do you think, princess?" The man at least grimaced at his tone, but he was the only person who could get away with talking to her like that. Callum Quen, after all, had been with her since she was a child. He'd been the one to kiss her bruises after she fell from the horse he'd taught her to ride. He had tucked her in at night when her mother had late meetings with her advisors, and he was the only one who knew how to brush her hair when she was very little, because the long dark locks tangled so easily. She hadn't grown up with a father. She'd grown up with Callum. He'd always been a good substitute.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?